Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In the last video we covered few miscellaneous topics. Those were the smaller topics, so that is why I made this video to complete them as well from the number system. And the topic we did was the negative power of some number makes it a reciprocal. That is what we have understood. And also we have understood that whenever you are given 2 raised to power something, 3 raised to power something, or 50 raised to power something, so what is the last digit you can get from that? That is what we have learned in the last video. Those topics we have covered. Today we are going to do few PYQs from those topics as well as from the last topics which we have already covered in the last videos. Before trying these questions, either you can pause them here, try to do this question on your own and then look at the solution, or otherwise you can download this PDF from the channel, Telegram channel, do this question and then only see the solution. That would be great for you. In this way you can practice along with the course. So starting with, so these are few questions from 2020. Let's start with this question. I hope now you will get an idea what this negative power of a number means. If you don't know, you can go back and check the video. And again repeating that, suppose it is given 1 by 2 raised to power minus 6. Again, what does minus does? 1 by 2. We can also write it as 1 by 2 raised to power minus 1 raised to power 6. What does minus power of a number does? It reciprocated, means it changes a numerator to denominator and denominator to numerator. So 1 by 2 will become 2 by 1 raised to power 6, right? So in this first case, it will become 2 raised to power 6. In this case, this will become 4 raised to power 3. In this case, it will become 3 raised to power 4. In this case, it will become 6 raised to power 2. I hope this part is clear. Now, they are asking you out of all these number, which is the largest number. Now you can do the calculation. 2 raised to power 6, you already know this is 2 into 2 into 2, 6 times. Right? So this will give you 8 is 64. 4 cube is 4 into 4 into 4. This is again 64. 3 4 is 3 3 3 3. So this will be 81. And 6 square is 6 into 6. That is 36. So our answer is, the largest of these number is 81. So the answer is C. I hope this is clear. The largest number. Now let's do some PYQs from the last topics which we have done in the last videos. Okay. So this is one of the question. It says, for what value of n, sum of the digits of this number is 2. So they've given you such number in this form, 10 raised to power n is equal to plus 1, right? Now they tell you this is a number whose sum of digits is 2. Again, what is sum of digits? Suppose 10 raised to power n is 36. Sum of the digits is 6, 3 plus 6, 9. I hope this is clear. So the number is given of form 10 raised to power n plus 1 and sum of digits is 2. What is the value of n they are asking, right? Now let's see. First option. For n raised to power n is equal to 0 only, you will get sum of digits as 2. Let's see. If I put 10 raised to power 0 plus 1, it will be 10. 10 raised to power 0 is 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So sum of digit is 2. It is true. But is this statement right, that for n raised to power n is equal to 0 only and nothing else? Could not be the answer. So we'll just put our question mark here, because only is the problem here. If there are another n, so this option will not be correct. Let's move to second option. For any whole number, for any positive integer n, and for real numbers. These three terms, I've already told you. If you go back to the first class of number system, I've given you the definition of whole number, positive integers and real number. So now tell me, for any whole number, what is whole number? Whole number is series starting from 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. It does not contain a negative part, right? For positive integers n only, So for the positive integers n only. So what are the positive integers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on, right? And this means that minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 cannot be the answer. So this option could be true. And for any real number is any number which lies on that line, right? So real number could be, already told you, this is a number line. Any number lying on this line is a real number. Let's take a real number as 0.5. Since 0.5 is a real number, so let's see, right? Now the option says let's check for whole number. So whole number start from 0, then 1, then 2, then 3 and so on, right? Now if I check for number 0, then 10 raised to power 0 plus 1 is 1 plus 1, 2. I check for 1, 10 raised to power 1 plus 1 is 10 plus 1, that is 11. Again sum of digit is 2. 10 square plus 1 is 100 plus 1 is 101. Again sum of digit is 2. 10 cube plus 1 is 1000 plus 1, 1001. Again the sum of digit is 2. So second option is also correct. Also correct means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, any number you take, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 till so on, any number you take, you will get an answer. So this option is also true. There is no condition, only is given. Let's see, for any positive integer n. So when we say positive integers only start from 1. So the 0 is not a positive integer or a negative integer. So 0 is not part of this option for any positive integers only. But if n is equal to 0, this is also true. But this option C does not cover n is equal to 0 as a positive integer, right? So this option cannot be the answer because they have left n is equal to 0. For first option, n is equal to 0 only, this option is also not correct. Why? Because for n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, it's also true. So that is why option A is also not an answer. Now we are left with option B and option D. Now let's check for real number 0.5. If I do 10 raised to power 0.5 plus 1, it is going to give me a value of form. So this is going to give me a value of form 3 point something plus 1. So the value will be 4 point something. So it is giving me a value answer in a decimal form, right? A real number I took an example is n is equal to 0.5. Why? Because any number on this number line I can pick. What did I choose? Rather than choosing an integer, I picked a number 0.5, which is a real number, but the condition is not satisfying. Sum of digits is not equal to 2. So that is why this option is also not correct. The only answer we can have is second option. I hope this is clear. First option is not correct because of only. Why? Because n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 is also an answer. Third option was not correct because it is not including 0. Second option includes everything from 0 to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? For real number, we picked 0.5. Or if you want, we can also check it for, suppose, and another real number I want to check is n raised to power n is equal to minus 1. 10 raised to power minus 1 plus 1. This is 1 by 10 plus 1. It is 1.1. This is also not giving me sum of digits as 2. So real number is any decimal, any integer of p by q form or irrational numbers. Everything is covered in the real number. So the last option is surely not the answer. The answer is B. This question we have already done. Largest number of negative power. We are left with these three questions. Let's make it fast. This is this question is given. A digit is divisible by 3 but not divisible by 6, right? Which one of the following is divisible by 4, right? Now in this question again, don't put a lot of your mind and start remembering all the formulas in the exam. If such a question is given where any number you can take, use a trick method. This method we have already used in the last video where we did a question like xyz plus zyx plus yzx, right? So in that question also we took a 3-digit number of our own choice given that answer satisfied our condition. Let's take a digit n is greater than 3. So we have to take a digit n greater than 3 which is divisible by 3. So a number greater than 3 which is divisible by 3, I could take 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 and so on. But it is not divisible by 6. I can then in that case I cannot take 6, I cannot take 12, I cannot take 18. I can take 9, I can take 15. So the numbers I can take is 9, 15, then 21 and so on. These are the number which satisfy the condition of the digit, right? Now, which one of the following is divisible by 4, right? Now, which one of the following is divisible by 4? I'm taking this n is equal to 9 for our question. If n is equal to 9, because 9 satisfy our condition, what will be 2n? 2n will be 9 to the 18. 3n will be 27. 2n plus 4 will be 18 plus 4, 22. 3n plus 1 is 28. Now they are asking you, out of these, which one is divisible by 4? Is first 18 divisible by 4? No. If 27 divisible by 4? No. 22? No. 28 is the only thing which is divisible by 4. So that is why you will get an answer as 3n plus 1. I hope this is clear. If you don't want to take 9, you can take n is equal to 15 as well. So in case of n is equal to 15, 2n will be 30, 3n will be 45, 2n plus 4 will be 34 and 3n plus 1 will be, 3n plus 1 is giving me 46. 3n plus 1 is giving me 46. Okay. So we are getting a problem here. Okay, let's see what the problem is. N is equal to 30 is divisible by 4? No. 45? No. 34? No. 46 is divisible by 4? No. So what is the problem here? They have put this question very smartly. Why cannot we take 15 or 21 and only 9? Because they have said it is a digit. Digit means it's a single digit. It is not a 2-digit number or 3-digit number. When they say digit means anything between 0 to 9. I hope this is clear. So 0 to 9, only 9 we can take. 15 we cannot take is because, why? Because 15 is a 2-digit number. It's not a single digit. I hope this question is also clear. Now let's move and do question number 32 of 2020. Statements are given. See, these questions are very common in exam, and many times the aspirants they get scared of these questions and they don't even attempt it. If you just start reading the question, you will find that these questions are very simple if you know the concepts of number system or whatever they have asked in the question. Now, these two statements are given. Let's not even read the question. Just say these two statements are given, and from these statements you conclude something, right? From these statements you conclude something. Now, which of the conclusion is right? You understand? Suppose I will say India, Pakistan and India, Pakistan share a border. India, Bangladesh share a border. Right? Now, they will ask you the first option. They will say Pakistan, India, Bangladesh are 3 adjacent countries. 3 adjacent countries means they share the borders, right? And the second option they will tell you Pakistan and Bangladesh share a border. Now, from statement 1 and statement 2, what you can conclude and what you cannot conclude. I suppose I don't know. This is India. This is India. I don't know the map of India where Pakistan is, where Bangladesh is. But I only know they have told me that Pakistan is here, right? And they told me that India and Bangladesh also shares a boundary. Let me make a Bangladesh neighboring country of Pakistan and neighboring country of India. Don't think about the original map of India. Just think this is the situation looks like, right? Or the second case could be like the real map of India. India is here. We have Pakistan here, and Third case, we have Bangladesh here, right? This is how the original location of the countries look like, right? Now let's see. They say Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh are three adjacent countries. Means they share boundaries in any form. This is true in first case as well. These two in second case as well. Simply Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh are the neighboring countries. They are saying. The answer is yes. Can you conclude from this statement that Pakistan and Bangladesh are also neighbors? This is true in first case, but this is not true in second case. So this means that you have to be 100% sure to get a conclusion. In first case, we are 100% sure that these three are neighboring countries. But we are not 100% sure, we are only 50% sure that Pakistan, in first case it is true, but in second case it is not true. So I say I cannot conclude the second option. I hope this is clear. When you are 100% sure, then only you can conclude something out of these statements. Now let's see the question. They told us that there are given numbers. There are some given numbers. Suppose this is a list of numbers. These numbers are divisible by 2. So these numbers, first statement, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 and so on. So this is how the list looks like. And statement 2 is all the numbers are divisible by 3. So all the numbers are divisible by 2. All the numbers are divisible by 3. Right? So these are divisible by 2 as well as divisible by 3. So if you see, I have to remove these numbers. I hope you're understanding. I have to remove these numbers and only these numbers will be remaining. 2, 6, 16, 12, 18, 24. So these are the number which will be left with me. So, and also in the coming class we are going to do LCM and HCF. That is the concept. So in all this, that is the concept which is being used in this question. So now from the statement we know the series. That series looks like 6, 12, 18, 24 and 30 and so on. So this is our series look like, right? Now, can you make a conclusion of number 1 that all numbers are divisible by 6? You can check. This is divisible by 6, this is divisible by 6, 6, 6 and so on. So my first conclusion is surely right. No problem there, right? No problem there. First option is surely right. Now, all numbers are divisible by 4. So, if you want to check by 4, is 6 divisible by 4? No. Is 12 divisible by 4? Yes. 18? No. 24? Yes. 30? No. So, I hope this is clear. So, first statement is 100% we can make a conclusion. But for the second statement, it's not possible. So second conclusion is not possible for us. So our answer is only conclusion 1. Right? So you can check for other option. B cannot be true. Neither 1, neither 2, no. That could not be true. And both 1 and 2 are correct. No, that is also not correct. So the answer is option A. I hope these types of question now you can do. You just have to be don't have to worry about the options. You just look at what they're asking for and then make a conclusion out of it, right? Such type of question only looks scary, but once you start attempting them, they're very easy because many a times one statement is surely wrong, then only one option is left, right? Now moving on. This is another statement question. So here, this is a question of data sufficiency. Data sufficiency means, suppose I say I want to ask you India, Pakistan and say Sri Lanka are India and Pakistan and Sri Lanka are neighbors. Are India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka are neighbors, right? So they will tell you, are these countries neighbor? First thing, they will give you an option. India, Pakistan have direct road connecting between them, right? Second option they will tell you, India, Sri Lanka has a common bridge between them. Third, Pakistan, Sri Lanka are not neighbors. Example, something like this, right? So now they are asking you, are India, Pakistan and Sri Lanka neighbors? This means neighbors means just like the original location, they are three adjacent countries, right? Just in the original geography you can think of. Which state? So to conclude this, first thing, India, Pakistan have a direct road between them. This means obviously they are connected by road. Means they are. I'm not going by there is a country between them. Suppose they have a direct road between them, right? So this means they are obviously neighboring. So that is why one statement is sufficient to tell that India and Pakistan are neighbors. But is that sufficient to tell that India and Sri Lanka are neighbors as well? No, because the first statement only tells you about India and Pakistan. If you say, read second statement, they have a common bridge between them. So this will say that India and Sri Lanka are also neighbors. So you understand? So to make it complete, to make it a complete answer, we need both of these statements. Third statement, Pakistan, Sri Lanka are not neighbors. This statement is not needed. This statement is not needed to reach the conclusion that India, Pakistan and Sri Lanka are neighbors. Why? Because from the first two statements only we can conclude that these three countries are close to each other. I hope this is clear. This is known as sufficient data. Now if you go to the question, you will see. Now they say the question is, what are two numbers? What are two numbers? Now, what are two numbers? Means there are two numbers, x and y, right? X and y. First statement says that x into y is 21. Second statement says x plus y is 10, right? X into y is 21 and x plus y is 10, right? Now, again going back, do you remember the factorization question? How to do factorization of 21? We know 21 can be written as 3 into 7, right? So means 3 raised to power, I'm just giving you 3 raised to power 1 into 7 raised to power 1. So number of factors it will have is 1 plus 1 into 1 plus 1, that is 4. I hope this is clear. Why? How can we have 4? Means 1 is a factor, 3 is a factor, 7 is a factor and 21 is a factor. You can go back and watch that video of factorization. You will understand these are number of factors. So now, how can you write x and y in this form? I can say 1 into 21 is 21. Another way is 3 into 7, 21, right? Another way is 7 into 3, 21. Another is 21 into 1, 21. Only these are the 4 ways in which these can be written, right? Now tell me, can you still tell me, is x or y any number from only this? X could take many forms. X could be 1, 3, 7, 21. Or y could also be 1, 3, 7, 21. If you don't want to take the repeats, let's remove these repeats, and still you only have x as 1 and 3 and y as 7 and 21. I hope this is clear. You can have x as 1 and 3 or y as 7 and 21. These are the possibilities of having of x and y. So still we cannot say what is x, what is y. We need another statement, that is x plus y is 10. When they told us x plus y is 10, we will surely know x is 3, y is 7. That will make it x plus y is 10. So now from the one statement, we narrowed it down to 2 values of x and 2 values of y. But we needed second statement to make it for sure what is the value of x, what is the value of y. So that is why one statement, either of these statements are not sufficient to answer the question. We need both of these statements to answer our question. So if you check again, statement one is alone is sufficient to answer the question? No. Statement 2 alone is sufficient? No. Statement 1 together are sufficient to answer the question. But any of those alone are not able to answer the question. Yes, we need both of the statement because we are not able to answer with any one of those. Statement 1 and 2 together are not sufficient to the answer. No, this is not the answer. This option is also not correct. So the answer is option number 3. I hope this is clear. So these are the few PYQs which we had done from the topics we have covered in number system. I hope the things are clear. If you have any doubt, post them in the comments, and you can again you should attempt this question on your own, then only look at the solution, and this will save you a lot of time and you can practice along with the video. Thank you for watching the video.